from Builder Janie Pendleton. We're back in my daughter's kitchen in Westfield, Indiana. That's right, we're in Westfield, Indiana. And we're going to be tying our hair up, rolling up our sleeves, and we're going to get busy on some bread for the DAC machine. That's right, back here in the kitchen you can see I just got my daughter a DAC machine. I found it on eBay for $15. It had only been used once. The guy used it to test it out to make sure it still worked. It's about 25 years old. So brand new, like I said, he just used it the one time. It still had all the packaging and it had all the brochures and manuals with it. So as you know, I love my DAC bread machine and I can't wait to see how hers is working. Every night when she goes to bed, she can put on some fresh ingredients and in the morning have some great morning toast. This will make making homemade bread so much easier for her. They're both putting in over 50, 60, 70 hours a week in their jobs. So, you know, young couple, they're professional couples, work a lot. So I'm going to help set up the house to make things so much more organized and easier for them. So come on, let's get started and let's get this house together. I've already got everything painted except for the entryway up the top. And right now, if you hear the hammering going, that's my crews installing the rest of the drywall and muddying the drywall and putting in the attic steps. So I can get up there and insulate upstairs as well. The steps were just too heavy. I couldn't lift them up. John, with his bad back, we just couldn't get the steps installed. And my other son, his wife fell and hurt her back. So he's kind of out of commission. He's kind of home taking care of her. So I'm down to half a crew, but we are getting it done, all right? So we're gonna go through here. We've got most of the house organized. We've got, let's see, 3 days ago. 3 days ago, we got the new bed all put together. My one daughter gave her bedroom suit, a new bedroom suit to this daughter. So, so despite all the hammering, come on, let's get started. We're going to make a really good honey white bread recipe. I've made this for you before, but we're going to do it a little different because this time it is not gluten-free because they're not gluten-free, so I'm not going to make it gluten-free. I'm going to make it the way that they like it. I'm creating this recipe to help them make the maximum loft loaf of bread that works for them and for this family, all right? So come on, let's get started. Oh, it's Christmas time. Most wonderful time of the year. I want to give you this, how the house looks here. They've got a few boxes here, but her new rug is in. Let's step back a little bit. Her new rug is in. This beautiful ebony floor. We've got the other section to her sofa in. So that's all put together. You can see I'm making, I brought a few movies with me, and here I'm making a really pretty baby blanket for my grandchildren. I've got a couple of blankets in here going. Jacqueline taught me a new stitch, so we're working together on that and on some Christmas presents. But this is just really cool. I love this little tray, and this can be flipped upside down to become an ottoman. This just flips upside down. And then, of course, John and I and Jacqueline, we got the TV hung, and then we got her all of this, and then her husband's grandmother made her this beautiful doilied crocheted piece. I'd so love to learn how to do this stitch. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I got her a couple of these items from Walmart the other day. And we really pulled out that tile collar in the wall collar. I'll show it to you from a different angle. I don't know that it's bright enough in here. But I got it all painted, and I'm pretty happy with it. So we got the light at Goodwill. It came out of a brand new home that went up right next to us, and we ran over there and got the light because I knew that it matched the island light that we hung up. And you can see here, this was in the upstairs hallway, and John moved it to here because it matches the family room light. So we've done a lot. And here's a sneak peek at the beautiful chandelier that we hung up in the dining room. And this room clear across here, you can see that I got all this painted as well. Doesn't that look beautiful? Jacqueline and I got the tree up. We're waiting for her table to come in, so right now she's just on a card table, but her chairs are here. So we're pretty excited about that, and her rug in here is in as well. I'll show this to you at this angle here. The beautiful stairway. I got all the upstairs painted. And here's that really cool balloon chair that you saw me make for her. And this is the table that I finished for her from Big Lots and refinished it. It was red, and I painted it white for her wedding. That was in her wedding. A couple of pieces here from Goodwill as well. And look at those beautiful wagon wheel windows. Just gorgeous. Just a beautiful home. And then you can see here, this right here is how far I got it painted. We'll give you the view upstairs later. All right, so we're just making homemade bread and stuff, but we're gonna stop for breakfast real quick. But John got me McDonald's and toilet paper. Woo! I can't wait. We should have brought the big stand here because this right here would have been perfect for baking and stuff. This would make a perfect backdrop for camera. Okay. Yeah. So here is that DAC bread machine by Well-Built. This is one of the older ones, and you can see it is brand new, other than the one dent right here, which you'll never notice that. Everything in here is brand new, and it looks so nice, so wonderful, and just a beautiful machine. So I can't wait here to get it started. We've got the clock set here, and we're going to be baking this. When we select, we're going to be putting this on white bread, on the white bread setting. Okay. All right, we're going to eat a breakfast, and we're going to get started. All right, for this recipe, we are going to put in the dry ingredients first, starting with the yeast. And here we have 2½ teaspoons. That's 2½ teaspoons of yeast. And we're going to sprinkle that just around the outside edge here, okay? There we go. This is a bread machine yeast or a quick rise yeast. It is the same thing. You can either add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar or 1 tablespoon of regular sugar, or you can substitute that with a Splenda or something. In this case, I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon. In this case, I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of packed brown sugar. And we're just going to kind of spread that along the edges with that sugar is what will help activate the yeast. I'm going to add a ½ teaspoon of regular sugar. This is optional. You can leave this out. I'm going to add 3/4 of a tablespoon of honey. Be patient. It takes a minute to get that out of there. Might have to use a little spatula here to get all that goodness out of here. And I use a raw unfiltered honey for mine, and it's made here in the region of where we live. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1½ tablespoons of vegetable oil. And again, you want to make sure and get every drop out. 2 1/4 cups. That's 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, or bread flour works best actually here. That's what I like to use. Here is 1/4 cup. Okay, and there's my other cup. So that's 2 1/4 cups so far. Try not to get anything down in here because it's really hard to clean up between here and that area. Need 3/4 of a cup of hot water, lukewarm water, and that will be about 98 to 110 degrees. This is about 105. That's perfect. Be sure and use your thermometer on that. And we're just going to kind of lightly drizzle that in. All right, and that is it. That is all the ingredients. You can add some cranberries or raisins to this if you want to, and a little bit more honey or brown sugar to sweeten this up to make this more of a sweeter bread. That's not what I'm doing today though. Okay, so now put the lid down. That keeps the heat in. keeps that moisture going. We want to keep that warmth from that water in there. We're going to quickly hit our select button to our white bread setting. We have white bread, French bread, sweet bread, and manual. We're not going to be mixing up rolls or biscuits or anything with this, or pizza dough, so we're not going to put this on manual. We want this to read white bread. Just white bread. The manual light should not be on, or else it'll stop and won't do the whole process. Now we're going to hit start. You know, we got our timer set, and we're going to hit the start button. And we're going to keep an eye on what it's doing down inside of there. It's cleaning the bowl nicely. Got a nice warmth in here. You can see it's starting to steam up. Normally I wouldn't open this up, but so you can see it. Okay, that looks really good. I'm not going to need to add any more flour to that. My daughter didn't have a measuring cup, so I had to guess at the 3/4 cup of water. So if anything goes wrong with it, that's it. Sometimes we have to make do, right? So, all right. So this is going to run its process for about 15 minutes. So, and again, I'm only opening this up and clearing this off so you can see it. And we will be back in about 15 minutes. Be sure and give one of these DACs a try. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I know there's nothing like homemade kneaded bread, and we're going to have plenty of videos like that coming up. But for that busy couple or that person that likes to wake up to fresh homemade, you know, French toast that they can make with homemade bread, or English muffin type bread, this is perfect. We'll see you back here in a minute. This is 5 minutes into it. Looks great. Nice soft dough. Cleaning the sides of the pan. Looks perfect. It'll knead for about another 10 minutes. Okay, while the bread is doing its thing, I found my daughter's wedding recipes that everybody gave her from her wedding shower. And I got her this little box with some pretty little recipe cards. Again, sorry, you can hear the hammering where they're putting the ladder and putting the floor in the attic for her. But right here, what I did is I got a couple of the recipe cards out, and then I'm going to write down 2 varieties of recipes for her DAC bread machine. And I'm going to write on here that it is for her DAC. Oh, there it is. It's done. Okay, this right here is for her DAC bread machine, and I'll give her a couple of recipes to slip into her recipe box, and that way she'll always have it easy and accessible on hand. And this is just my recipe I brought from home. This is all I had it on and stuck in my little recipe tin drawer thing. But this is how she likes it done, so we're going to do this for her. And remember, when we're baking for someone else, leave a recipe card or 2 like this behind, and then, you know, at your church function or what have you, with your dish that you've made. And then if anybody asks you for the recipe, they don't even have to ask. They can just pick up a recipe card and walk away with it if they like the dish. And that's what I like to do. I like to just make out 5, 6, maybe even up to 15 multiple recipe cards off my computer and off my printer. And then somebody can walk away with my recipe. I'm all about the sharing, you know that. I'm all about the sharing. So we're going to title these Honey White Bread, and then I'll also give her my Honey White wheat bread version as well, and we might even do one for a sweet bread, maybe a biscuit or a roll, or maybe even my pizza dough recipe. I brought several of these recipes with me that I have written down, multiple recipes on. I don't even have them titled what they are. I just know I make them so much. But this will help, and this is just a little tidbit for you and for your family, you know, little organizational tips for you and how to share your recipes with others. Be sure and subscribe. We have a lot of contests coming up. In fact, we have those pie birds, and we have that pie bird contest coming up. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give one pie bird, one black pie bird, away to someone who is a subscriber. You must be a subscriber to my channel. Janie Pendleton, you must be a subscriber to my channel, and you must leave a comment below, and if it allows you to, hit the like button. Some people are saying they're having problems with the like button getting hit, and I'm like, I understand that. If it doesn't let you, just leave that in your comment that it didn't let you do it. But hitting the like button, that helps us show that you are watching and that we are bringing you content that you do want to see. And this works in other bread machines besides the DAC. Be sure and follow your bread machine directions, all right? And if you're new to a bread machine, give it a go. You will absolutely love these recipes for your bread machine. Just adjust the amounts for what works for your size of container. Remember, my bread size container probably might be larger than your little square box container. So just adapt the recipe to fit your bread machine, or follow the recipe in your machine's recipe guide. All right, and I'm sure you can find lots of them online for your specific machine. The DAC is an older machine, so that's why I'm giving up my recipes for that, because there's not a lot of recipes for this older machine. All right, and I did get it off eBay. All right, so you can usually find them still around. Just make sure that they work. All right, as far as the DAC machine goes, make sure that they work. And this one is a well-built, which I think is the better brand. All right, so our bread is now in a resting stage. It's going to raise here for about 20-25 minutes. It will knead again. Then it will go into its final rising stage. Okay, now if you feel like it's not raising well, you can put a warm cloth and sit it in a warmer area of your kitchen. You know, I'm baking cookies today, so my bread machine's going to be in a warm kitchen today. So even though the snow has melted here outside. But anyway, so in the contest, just leave that comment below. I'll put the rules at the end of this video for the contest, and we will draw one winner and one prize winner, ladies and gentlemen, and we will get you out a no age limit on this either, and we'll send you out whoever's name we draw out of the hat as per usual. For all my contests, we'll put the names in a cowboy hat, and John will draw a name, and we will get you out your pie bird. All right, and again, that's for the blackbird pie bird. All right, and if you want to see what it looks like in person, then I will link that to this video, the pie bird video, to this video. Okay, all right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll call this honey a white bread. And let's see, and of course this is from Mom. And then since she has more moms now that she's married, I better put my first name. And this serves about 8 people. I'd say 6 to 8 people. Cooking time, that has nothing to do with it. This is for the bread machine. Right, and I'll just finish filling this out. Any instructions on the back, and this we'll put this away in her little box here, and then she can sort this out later. You know, now that she's home from Texas and she's a newlywed, this is some of the fun things that I like to do for my kids. We'll be right back. All right, I just want to show this to you really quickly, that you can see that I've layered several cloths in here. The bread just came to a stop. It's going to do its first rising, and I'm just going to keep that heat in because it's near this window. I'm keeping some warm water in the sink here too to help get this nice and warm, and we're getting ready to make some caramel chocolate filled cookies. All right, so the oven here will be running as well. So I'm pretty excited. I like doing this kind of thing for her while she's at work. She comes home to a nice meal on the table, and I've got my crews in working in the garage because I really can't do, I have actual drywall crews, and they're putting in the staircase up to her attic for me as well. So I can get up there and put the floor in and finish getting it insulated for her. So this is actually, I'm on a job site, but today I'm not getting paid. I'm kind of keeping an eye on my crew that are normally on my other houses. A lot of you don't see that side of me, but maybe we'll go out and introduce you to my crews later. I don't like to interrupt them because I'm paying them by the hour. So I don't like to interrupt them. I like them to see them get their job done. You know, we have other jobs to get to. So, all right, we'll be right back. All right. She's in her baking stage now after the final raising. And you can see she was almost ready to touch this vent area here. She's still rising, so she still may. And if that happens, that's fine. This one's going to have kind of a little popped little head on there, but that's fine. When we get it out of here, we're going to brush it with butter. Now you can adjust right here on the side how brown you want this, whether you want it darker or lighter brown. And I always go just a little bit to the right. I go a little bit to the lighter side right here. Don't want to get it too done. And when we get this out onto a rack, I'm going to rub this all over with butter. And remember to take the paddle out of the bottom middle of the bread, because the paddle will be baked into the bottom of the bread. So when it's cool, take that paddle out, because without that paddle, and if you accidentally throw that away, then you won't have a machine, especially one at this age. Okay. So very happy with it. It's working really great. The recipe that I made up for it's working great. So we'll be back here when we get ready to cut it up for dinner. All right, we love you. Be sure and hit that subscribe button. Be sure and hit the thumbs up button. Show your support for our channel, and let us know you're out there by leaving a comment below. Let us know, or maybe even leave us your favorite bread recipe or your favorite recipe for your bread machine. All right. It smells so good in here right now. There is nothing like homemade bread. Even my crews are out there smelling it. Coming up next, Rolo filled cookies for Christmas. That's right, cookies. Okay, it's on the cooling button here. And there you have it. Takes about 3.5 to 4 hours, depending on what you're baking, for this to do its complete process. So be sure and time this properly and set your timer. You can plan this ahead as well. So let's say you want to wake up to it. You can time it to go off at 4 hours before you get up and start having your breakfast. So this will be ready and you'll have nice, somewhat warm bread. You can take this out during the cooling process and in the cooling process quickly and have some warm bread. Or it will completely cool it down. Alright, again, just don't forget to take that paddle out of the bottom of the bread. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to brush all this with butter and let this sit out and wrap this up in some Ziploc baggies. I pre-slice mine so people will just dig right in. What I do is I slice it this way and then give everything a cut straight down the middle. And then that makes them for some great half-moon shaped sandwiches. Alright, great with chicken salad, by the way, and tuna salad. Great toasted. This is just a really delicious recipe. I hope you give it a try. We'll be back in just a minute so you can see it actually cut. Alright, now we're just brushing the top with a little bit of butter. I use unsalted butter. You can use salted. Any kind of butter works. And I do this right before it's completely cooled down. Kind of get down inside the sides here. This helps slip it out as well. And that kind of helps that butter to kind of melt around this little bit of a warm pan. This is about halfway through the cooling period. Lid back down. We let it finish cooling. And then when it shuts off, a full soft top loaf. Isn't that beautiful? It looks like a hamburger bun. And it's soft like a hamburger bun as well. See that? Isn't that nice? Got a nice spring texture to it. This is just a really delicious recipe, and I hope you give this a try. Be sure and take all the parts out and wash all the parts. But don't put them down the garbage disposal. And again, remember that this paddle is in here. Still a little too hot to do that with. Now see, this right here got a little bit too done. So what I should have done is I should have adjusted the temperature a little sooner. The sides should look like this. But each machine is different, and this is the first time that I've ran my daughter's machine. She's going to have to turn hers way down. But I'll brush this with butter and that'll soften that right up. It'll be soft like the top. Be sure and unplug your machine. Be sure it's cool before you wash it out. You might get a little bit of flour, and this little pin right here might be, this is actually a thermometer here, a temperature. And this is what is controlled here on the side So it could be that this pin is in backwards as well. So I'll have to go home and look at mine and see. All right, just wash this out with a damp rag, a little soapy of a damp rag. Leave this open to dry. Wash this area as well. Wash this piece and the rubber piece. Wash this piece here. Keep your machine clean. You can put just a little drop of vegetable or olive oil on this rubber piece. It will keep it longer if you do. Just fill it out just like that right there. Careful, it can still be hot. Set that to cool. We can sample this piece too. Eat it. See how that tastes. Mmm. Oh, that honey bread is so good. That is so good. Now we're going to brush the rest of this with butter. And we're going to wash this out. And remember that this is a coating, a finish in here. So you don't want to use any harsh abrasive or anything like that on this pan. But remember, you're going to get bread that might kind of seep down into here. So you just want to adjust your temperature. And once you get your temperature adjusted, then you should be okay to go. I can see there, I told my husband I thought it was baking a little longer than mine normally does. Everything cleaned up nicely and get it all ready to go again. And that then is actually for this piece here. And that's the blower. Alright, and we got everything out of it. Everything's all clean. Lower our lid, and we are ready to go for the next time. This is Chef and Builder Janie Pendleton with my DAC machine. Well, this time it's my daughter's machine. Blessings.